the value of the skill set of being able to find properties at a discount really came home for me when I was talking to a mentor of mine who's not in real estate. And he was like, you know, if somebody's able to master the skill set you have of finding properties for less than what they're worth today, you'll never be poor. And I was like, yeah, I kind of like that. Right. Didn't come from money, very middle class, very blue collar. I didn't graduate high school. Had my first full-time job when I was 17. My folks were great. You know, they took care of us. We never went hungry, but like when I needed glasses, I went and mowed lawns to come up with the money to pay for the eye appointment. So definitely didn't grow up around money. I found real estate when I was 20. I was working in a call center doing car warranty sales, and I hated it. I don't know your guys' swearing policy, but I'm going to swear. My phone would ring and I'd be like, this. And then, thank you for calling so-and-so. This is Ryan. How can I help you today? And every time I did it, I found myself like hating myself a little bit more. I was in that industry from 17 till 20. And I was watching people around me like OD on drugs. I mean, it was, if you guys have ever seen Wolf of Wall Street, that's literally what it was like. I had a manager that I literally watched snort a line of coke off of his desk before he took my phone call. And I was just like insane environment for like conservative kid from the Midwest that had never even seen drugs before, let alone having the guy next to you be like, hey, do you want to try some meth? Like, no, I think I'm okay. So not a great environment, but it taught me sales. I think like a lot of you guys, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I actually found real estate by Google searching, how do people afford Lamborghinis? Because I'm a car guy. That's the whole reason I got into business in the first place. And I actually found a blog post from Mark Ferguson about how his real estate bought him his Lamborghini. And I was like, well, shoot. Okay. I fell into the camp of needing to wholesale. That was my start into real estate investing because your boy had no money and had good credit. But like my last year as a W-2 employee, I made 22K pre-tax. So like broke. So I split a direct mail campaign with a buddy of mine. It's $3,000. He took 1,500. I took 1,500. I put my 1,500 on a credit card I didn't tell my wife about, is honestly what happened. And within 30 days, we got our first wholesale deal done, made $12,500. So after reimbursing our direct mail costs, we were left with right about 9,500, 10 grand in profit. So you've got a 20-year-old kid who's used to making $2 grand a month, looking at $10,000 he generated in 30 days. And I've been ruined ever since. I was like, what am I doing? Like I could literally do 2 of these in a year and not have to work. So that was kind of my like foray into it. That partner and I wholesaled a couple like random deals together, got up enough cash to do a down payment on a couple of rentals. We did like 25% down conventional type of loans. And then my wife got accepted to University of Indianapolis. So we were moving out of St. Louis. So I was talking to my buddy there and I was like, look, I don't really see a way in which we keep working together and I don't resent you or you don't resent me. Because if you're the one doing all of the work on the ground, you're going to be upset about giving me half. And on the flip side, if you're wanting me to split stuff with you in Indianapolis, you're not doing anything for any of this. So why would I give you half? So I ended up selling him our rentals we had. I didn't get a ton of money out of it. I think I got like 15 grand. These were like low end hood houses. He actually still owns them though. I took that $15,000. I had $3,000 a month in bills and I went full time as a real estate investor. That first year, I'll be totally blunt with you guys because people hear full time and they think like, wow, that must have been great. It was terrible. Like absolutely horrible. Hopefully some of you guys, hopefully all of you have spouses that love you as much as my wife loves me. But I've got a wife who like will call me on my bullshit. I don't know if, you know, some of you guys might not have that. But she can also do it in a loving way, which is nice. And I remember her being like, hey, you're going through whiskey real fast. And me being like, what you're talking about? Like, look at like all of the bottles that were almost empty, but like I wouldn't finish it the way it wasn't like finished. Right. Um, I was working a ton. I was making no money. I think that year I probably grossed about $30,000. And, that year I would say changed my life. Um, I went to Hawaii for a friend's wedding with my wife, all on a credit card, stressed out. Literally, we'd be like, if you've never been to Hawaii, you go and get a burger and it's $50. And I'm like, where is this going to come from? Okay, yeah, we got to eat while we're here, right? And I was born in Hawaii. For those of you who don't know, my middle name's actually Kaikio Kalakapua, so that's kind of fun. I got a souvenir out of it. And I've always had the goal of owning property in Hawaii. And if any of you guys have been, we were at Waikiki. I was out in the water at sunset, kind of looking back at the island. And I felt myself say kind of out loud, I would love to own property here. And I felt something in me rise up and be like, you can't have that. You won't have that. And I realized in that moment, like, that's not okay. So for the first time in years, I swam back to the beach, looked my wife in the eyes, and I was like, I need help. She was like right now? And I was like, no, like this is bigger than right now. Like in general, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm having a hard time making ends meet, which I'm sure, she was aware of. Guys, our mortgage was like $540 because we lived in a horrible house in a rough part of town. And I remember there was months that it was like, I don't know where that's going to come from. Right. Like she would literally be like, hey, our account's low. And I would take money out of my business account that shouldn't have left my business account because otherwise we weren't going to eat. Right. So 2016, I did 6 off-market deals. 2017, I did 74. So in 2016, looking back on it, I was very much caught up in the hustle, grind, outwork. You could put in more time than everybody else to get better results. The one thing with that's BS. You don't actually do things. It doesn't matter how much time you spend doing it. If you're really good at looking up properties on the MLS, but you never make any offers, you're never going to make any money. If you're really good at logging into your email, flicking through stuff in there, but then like not doing the stuff that pulls money in for you, you're always going to be broke. So, looking back on it, I wasn't suicidal, but I probably wasn't far off. I wanted out, but I don't think I'd followed that chain of logic of what out meant. Back then, my out was I wanted to go live overseas, do the digital nomad thing because I could live like a gangster on $3,000, which was about all I could make a month with my current skill set back then. And on top of that, stuff with my marriage wasn't great. I wasn't communicating with my wife because I was miserable. And she'd go to bed alone. I'd work till 4 a.m. I'd go to bed at 5. I'd wake up at 10 or 11 and repeat every night, 7 days a week. There's the whole like 10,000 hours thing. We did the math and I think I did that in like a year and a half. It was like just brutal. So I hired a business coach, and the one thing he drove into my head over and over and over again was, what did you do today that was revenue generating? What did you do in real estate? The perk with this guy I hired was he was a very successful realtor. And I'm a licensed realtor. I don't do any retail stuff though, because I think it's boring. But he was like, look, you and I both know in real estate, what you do today is going to determine what you get paid 60 to 90 days from now. So we had a weekly call, and on that weekly call, it was like, what did you do to make sure you're getting paid? What did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? The other thing that he did was he believed in me, which I can say at times when I didn't believe in myself. I'd call him and he'd pick up, hey, what's up, superstar? And I'd be like, I feel like I want to shoot myself today. That's what's up, Chuck. Right. Like, but that was huge for me. So the big thing that changed from 2016 to 2017, I got super consistent in my marketing. I went from marketing when I felt like it to I decided I was going to market if it buried me. I decided I was comfortable filing for bankruptcy over continuing on as I was. So I went deep into my credit limits. Never missed a payment on anything. Was able to pay everything I borrowed back off. But people ask me, how'd you do it? I say, I'll tell you how I did it, but I don't necessarily endorse it. Right. But 2016, I made like 30 grand. 2017, I made nearly 400. And that was like net to me. And that was like, holy crap, this is what I've been waiting for. And one of the big things that changed for me, a buddy of mine, Frank, was always posting these big like check pics, right? We've all got those people we follow that are like, oh, $100,000, $50,000. I'm sitting there looking at the assignment check I just got for $1,312. And I'm like, how does he do this? Right? Like I'm barely paying for my marketing, let alone actually bringing anything home. So I called my buddy Frank and I was like, man, how you pulling these off? And he's like, what's your average fee? And I was like, $3,000 to $5,000. And he's like, you're a little, and I was like, excuse me? Like, I called you for help. What do you mean? I didn't call you to get yelled at. And he goes, no, the reason you're only making $3,000 to $5,000 a deal is that's all you think your time is worth. And if you actually valued yourself and the service you bring to the marketplace, you'd have the balls to negotiate a deal that would pay you $25,000 to $50,000. And I was like, okay, thanks, Frank. Hung up, all in my feelings. Like, he doesn't know me. He don't know who I don't know. He hasn't been in these shoes, right? Oh yeah, totally. Like, let's go, Frank. And then like my emotions settled and I was like, damn it, I am a right? Like, I'm trying to get just these itty bitty deals and not making any money. So I was like, all right, I can't be like Frank, but I'm going to set the goal of my average profit on a deal being $8,000 instead of 3 to 5. And I can tell you guys, I can even show you if you want, that extra $3,000 a deal is huge. You talk about doing 75 transactions. If you're able to make an extra $3,000 a deal, you're talking north of an extra $250,000 a year just because you were a tidbit better at negotiating. And you don't even have to do that many deals. Like, let's say you do 10. I think anybody on this call would tell me they would use an extra 30 G's if I offered it to them, right? Like, that's not difficult at all. Our average profit we make on like a wholesale or wholesale at this point is north of 15 grand. It's not uncommon for us to do 25, 30. It's not uncommon on flips or wholesales for us to hit 80, 90, 100. And I don't say that to like brag or boast or like, look at how cool I am. I say that to inspire you guys, because if somebody told me back in 2016 that I could do one deal and make $50,000, I wouldn't have believed it.